clean shaven and ready to talk games. Let's talk. What up, viewers? What up? What up? Calc Soups here, and today is Friday, October 10th, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week in video game news. Big game that's coming out this week is Battlefield 6 launched today. This is the prince that was promised. This is the Battlefield game to end all Battlefield games. There's a lot of hype around it coming out of the beta that was a couple months ago. And I know that a lot of people are kind of waiting for something to play. They've got another month until Call of Duty, and I think that's gotten a little bit of bad vibes around it. So I think a lot of people are kind of looking forward to Battlefield, and now it's here. It's got an 84 Metacritic. I've seen a couple stats already that it's like it crashed Steam for a little bit. There's like 500K concurrence in like the first 10 minutes or half an hour of the game launching. It already sold $100 million in like pre-sale, which is crazy. So yeah, it seems to be going off on a miraculous start. I'm always hoping that Call of Duty gets dethroned every year. So maybe Battlefield can do that with some of the hype and some of the stuff coming out, but we will see. If you're playing Battlefield 6 and you need to know what you're getting yourself into and how it's different from Call of Duty because you've been playing Call of Duty your whole life like I have, I'll have a link down below to an article that kind of gives you the basics about how to loadouts work, how to classes work, because it's not something I'm typically familiar with in being a Call of Duty player. But seems there's a lot of excitement around that. So excited to see people pick it up and what people think. Another game that launched this week, today in fact, is Little Nightmares 3, which I was kind of surprised didn't have as much excitement around it, considering it's got a 72 Metacritic. I looked into it. I started reading a little bit more about the reviews. I didn't know about the whole changing of hands. So Little Nightmares 1 and 2 was created by Trazier Games. I think they got bought or sold, but Bandai Namco kept Little Nightmares, and so they got Supermassive, the developers of Until Dawn and the Dark Pictures anthology games, to make this new Little Nightmares 3. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's kind of panning out. A lot of the reviews I've seen just say it's kind of more par for the course. And if you're just looking for more Little Nightmares to play, this could be right up your alley. The prospect of playing with two players is much more appealing to me, who likes playing games with my wife. So, the potential of playing it multiplayer, kind of Little Nightmares 3, or Little Nightmares kind of 2D co-op puzzle does sound appealing, but for any die-hard Little Nightmares fans, this might be, something you've already played and thus maybe somewhat negative. So take that with a grain of salt, but I'm curious. I'm curious what the co-op experience is like, because I assume all the reviewers played it solo, so the fact that they're bringing it to co-op, could open it up a little bit more, and I'm curious how that kind of works out. So I'm a little bit interested in a Little Nightmares, not having played the previous ones, but co-op does have an appeal to me that might not be reflective of the reviews. One more game that came out this week that's perfect for the horror holiday season that we are in. And it caught my eye a couple months ago. I think I talked about this coming out of, I don't know if it was Summer Game Fest or like one of the gaming events, but it's called Bye Sweet Carole. And it looks like a Disney animated cartoon. Like it's got like a very Disney princess vibe. Like the main character looks like Alice in Wonderland. She goes to this nightmarish horror realm, very Alice in Wonderland like. But they dial the horror parts up, significantly more. There's like eyeball monsters and people with heads exploding and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it launched this week and looks really cool. And just in the Dragon's Lair kind of animation style is very interesting to me. So another game that I'm looking forward to potentially picking up soon. So, and it's a 2D platformer, but with horror elements. And like a Disney animation style. So if all of that sounds up your league, be sure to check out Bye Sweet Carole. Currently $20. I think it looks like they got like a 20% discount, maybe an early bird special. So be sure to pick that up this weekend. Not so quietly this week, Ubisoft canceled an Assassin's Creed game, and it was supposed to be based around post Civil War era Americas. So they were gonna do the idea, I guess, was to do a like you were an escaped slave running around and killing Klansmen, which would be which has some potential issues with it, although sounds pretty rad in my mind. But they did it because they didn't want Yasuke backlash like they got with Assassin's Creed Shadows, which feels a little bit like giving into the racists. But also they didn't want to release a very politically driven game into our current American political crisis or climate, which would be really weird for like, Desmond to like, be in some, former slave's mind, doing 1860s stuff and then come back out of the animus and also be in a civil war, given our current climate. So, that was like, it was canceled this week and it was done so quietly, but it seems like it leaked out. And so a lot of people kind of reacted to that. I'll have a link down below for you to read the full article. But they almost made more of a political kerfuffle with it by trying to keep it quiet and canceling it rather than like not. So unfortunately it got out, and we'll never be able to play Assassin's Creed Civil War. More controversial figures have entered the chat. Elon Musk made a promise this week on X, formerly Twitter, that he will build a great AI game by the end of next year. And as someone who's like actually sat down and watched the AI generated version of Doom, which if you have, I don't have, maybe I will try and find the link to it, but you should go check that out because it's interesting that like the game, like the amount of processing power you need to generate live images was astounding. And this was, I think, several months ago, so it could be better now. But like the computer doesn't know why things are happening. It just kind of has things happening. So you can still like move around the world in this like AI version of Doom. And I'm going a little bit, tangentially related, but like having seen this video that shows you like what Doom would look like if it was AI generated, it's very good. Like, the facade is very good. Like it looks like Doom, except for there's little things that you notice, like the health bar just kind of like switches on and off every once in a while because it doesn't know to associate like bullets hitting you with damage. It just knows that in the games that it's witnessed that like the health bar changes occasionally when like enemies are on the board, and then sometimes enemies just like appear and then disappear randomly. Like the computer doesn't know why things are happening in a video game sense due to player input. It just like has things happening on the screen and it generates that artificially, which is the AI portion of it. So all that's to say, like, I think we're a long way from being able to like instantaneously generate a video game and play it. But Elon Musk thinks he can do it in less than 14 months. So good luck, I guess. Also, careful people were able to spot there's like a entry level, low level like AI engineer prompter that they're looking for to help them make this game. So like, and they're like entry level, like I don't know. It's like, okay, we'll pay you $40,000 to potentially make this outstanding AI game. I don't know. Feels just by prompt engineering. Anyway, I think it's going to be a giant shit show, but most of the things he does are. So c'est la vie. I can't believe y'all let me get away with not talking about Game Pass this week, but at least there was more Game Pass stuff to talk about this week that I didn't cover on last week. So to catch you all up, last week Game Pass announced that they're increasing their price from $20 a month for Game Pass Ultimate to $30 a month, a 50% increase in price. And it caused a lot of backlash. I myself included instantly went on to turn my Game Pass off because I did some research and it seems like that is like one of the highest priced, if not the highest priced media streaming like content service ever if they go from like $20 to $30. Like it's crazy how expensive that is. Like $400 a year to like play a couple indie games was definitely not worth it for me, and I think a lot of people made that same conclusion. Um, but some of these price hikes aren't affecting everybody everywhere. The news I saw this week is that Korea, India, and like several European countries have regulations on how quickly you can change the price of something that's like a subscription. And that is why those countries won't have this $30 price hike for a little bit. I don't know if it's 30, 60, or 90 days or whatever, but yeah, Korea, India, Italy and Germany like won't have that price hike, and so there was a lot of confusion like when people were sharing emails, and like some countries got emails that said it's not increasing, some countries aren't did increase. So a lot of confusion there, but yeah, it also, I mean, that's one of the things too, is like Microsoft very much sucker punched everybody and was just like, hey, next week your subscription price is like nearly doubling. Like it was nuts. So like it was a big kerfuffle, and now we've crossed that bridge. A lot of people are starting to speculate on whether or not Xbox would get out of console hardware. The fact that like Xbox can like stream onto every platform, their exclusives are going to PlayStation. People were starting to speculate whether or not Xbox would be doing hardware anymore. And no worries. I think Sarah Bond went out and like put out information that like, no, Microsoft is still highly invested in like making their own consoles, so there will be an Xbox Series Y. But yeah, they're still going. They still want to make consoles. They still want to sell as hardware, even though all their content is either going to be on any streaming platform ever or on other console manufacturers. So, Microsoft, a lot of stuff's up in the air right now with them. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do, what other things they do coming out of all of this. Dungeons and Dragons, just in time for Halloween season and just in time for Stranger Things season 5, is releasing their Hellfire Club starter kit. It comes with like pamphlets and little punch outs so that you can get like an entry level Dungeons and Dragons experience, similar to what you see in Stranger Things season 4. The starter kit's like $50. I think there's a deluxe version that's $60, and then you can buy like a digital only version for like $20. I'll have a link down below for you to check that out. But it looks kind of cool. As an experienced D&D player, I'm curious what it's in it for me, but it could be just kind of fun to introduce some people into the world of Dungeons and Dragons via, a show they like. That's a very popular show on Netflix. So, cool job there. Last but not least this week, a Twitch streamer was live during the birth of their child this week. What are we doing here? I don't know what's going on, but this one caught my eye and I have to talk about it. Nothing graphic, no nudity was shown, but this Twitch streamer, live to 30,000 people, gave birth to a child live on stream. And again, I have to ask you, what are we doing? Like I don't know. As someone who's been in an ER during both of my children's C-sections, like it's a very private moment, but trying to publicize that just feels somewhat wrong, even if nothing, untoward was shown. Yeah, it's nuts that happened. We've now crossed some kind of new threshold on like what we can stream on Twitch, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. That's just nuts. I don't know how to respond to that. Other than to say, that's it for this week. Let me know if you feel I forgot anything down below in the comments. But as always, thanks for watching. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super weekend. And I hope you have a super day. Bye!